Most hi-fi brands sell a lifestyle. These five solved problems so hard that NASA tracked Apollo missions with one amplifier, another built drivers from a material too dangerous for most factories to touch, and a third made a turntable still in professional use 50 years later. Technicians don't trust brands. They trust engineering that refuses to fail. That story begins with a material almost no one dared work with. In 1974, Yamaha's engineering team took on a challenge that most manufacturers wouldn't even consider. The goal was simple to state, but nearly impossible to achieve. Build a loudspeaker driver with a diaphragm made entirely from pure beryllium. At the time, beryllium was known in scientific circles for its rare combination of extreme stiffness and ultra-low mass. These properties meant that a beryllium dome could move faster and stop more sharply than aluminum or titanium, pushing distortion and coloration far above the range of human hearing. But working with beryllium required new manufacturing techniques and serious safety precautions, because its dust is toxic if inhaled. The result was the NS1000M, a studio monitor that became an instant reference for clarity and speed. Technicians noticed that high frequencies sounded cleaner, transients snapped into focus, and the entire soundstage took on a sense of transparency that was hard to find in any other speaker of the era. Yamaha didn't just add a new material for show, they redefined what a driver could do. The company's willingness to invest in hazardous, high-precision processes set a standard for engineering seriousness. For more than 25 years, no competitor matched this achievement. Focal's first beryllium tweeter wouldn't arrive until 2002. When audio technicians talk about brands that changed what's possible, Yamaha's beryllium breakthrough is the proof. The NS1000M turned a risky material into a new benchmark, and it did so in a way that left the rest of the industry scrambling to catch up. In 1953, Saul Marantz was hand-assembling his first audio consolette preamplifiers on a kitchen table in Queens, New York. Orders quickly outpaced his small operation, with demand surging to the point where a backlog of hundreds forced Marantz to formalize the company just to keep up. This wasn't hype-driven demand. It was the result of a circuit design that solved real problems for early hi-fi enthusiasts. The consolette set the tone for everything that followed. Engineering first, marketing second. 5 years later, Marantz released the Model 7 preamplifier. It became a cornerstone of serious audio systems, selling over 130,000 units, a staggering number for a high-end tube component. The Model 7's proprietary 3-stage phono circuit set a new standard for accuracy and musicality, delivering ultra-low noise and precise equalization at a time when vinyl playback was the heart of home listening. Technicians praised its stability and ruggedness, and decades later, original Model 7 units still command prices in the thousands, their value fueled by both performance and rarity. These preamps didn't just survive. They became reference points for what analog audio could achieve. Marantz's pursuit of uncompromising circuit architecture reached a new level with the Model 9 power amplifier, introduced in 1960. Its 70-watt ultralinear tube design caught the attention of NASA engineers who needed reliable, high-current amplification for Apollo tracking stations. NASA commissioned a custom run, designated the 9120, with hardware modifications to ensure stable operation under the extreme demands of space telemetry. In the world of professional audio, nothing says trust like a circuit chosen for deep space communication. For technicians, the Marantz name became shorthand for analog gear that could handle anything, from living rooms to lunar missions. Raymond Cook left the BBC in 1961 with a belief that loudspeaker design could be more than guesswork and tradition. He set up KEF in a Nissen hut on the grounds of Kent Engineering and Foundry in Maidstone, England. From the start, Cook insisted on measurement and repeatability. Instead of relying on golden ears and intuition, KEF engineers documented every variable and tested every prototype. By the early 1970s, KEF became the first audio company to use computers for loudspeaker design. Hewlett-Packard computers and Fourier analyzers allowed Cook's team to analyze acoustic data and model driver behavior in ways that were impossible with slide rules and charts. This shift turned speaker development into a science, letting engineers predict performance and control tolerances with a precision that was new to hi-fi. The next leap came in 1988 with the introduction of the Uni-Q driver. KEF's Uni-Q placed the tweeter at the exact acoustic center of the mid-range cone, creating a single-point source for sound. This coincident source design meant that highs and mids radiated from the same location, so music sounded coherent and imaging stayed sharp, even if listeners moved off to the side. The effect was a broader sweet spot and a more natural sense of space, benefits that could be measured, not just claimed. KEF hasn't treated Uni-Q as a museum piece. The platform is now in its 12th generation, updated with new materials and technologies like metamaterial absorption technology. Nearly every KEF speaker today uses some version of Uni-Q, a sign that the company's engineering culture is alive, not frozen in nostalgia. For audio technicians, KEF stands out as the brand that treats speaker building as a discipline grounded in data and continuity, not mystique. The result is a product line where measured performance and repeatable results earn trust year after year. In 1946, Paul W. Klipsch set out to solve a problem that plagued early hi-fi. Ordinary speakers wasted most of their amplifier's power, turning precious watts into heat instead of sound. Working alone in a tin shed behind a dry cleaner in Hope, Arkansas, Klipsch built the first Klipschhorn, a loudspeaker that used the physics of horn loading to break through the limits of efficiency. Instead of letting the energy from the driver scatter, the horn acts as an acoustic transformer, matching the tiny movements of the diaphragm to the much larger volume of air in the room. The result is a sensitivity rating that stands out even decades later. 104 to 105 decibels at 1 watt, measured 1 meter away. That's up to 20 times the efficiency of a typical direct radiating speaker. With just a handful of watts, the Klipschhorn can fill a space with sound that most systems need 100 or more watts to match. Push it to 40 watts, and you're looking at sound pressure levels of around 121 decibels, enough to rival a live concert, all from a design that hasn't strayed from its original blueprint. The Klipschhorn's legacy isn't just about numbers. It's the only consumer loudspeaker in history to remain in continuous production for more than 70 years, still hand-built in the same Arkansas town where it began. Every unit carries the DNA of Paul Klipsch's original vision: solve inefficiency with real engineering. Not just bigger amps or flashier marketing. That's why technicians trust it. The design's core physics haven't needed revision, and neither has its reputation. When a product keeps earning its place in professional setups and home systems, decade after decade, it's not nostalgia. It's proof. The Klipschhorn stands as a buy-it-once solution, showing that when a breakthrough works, you don't have to chase trends. You just keep building it right. In 1970, Panasonic's engineers introduced a new kind of turntable motor, one that didn't rely on a belt or idler wheel, but instead drove the platter directly. The SP10, the world's first direct-drive turntable, made its debut in broadcast studios where speed stability and instant startup weren't just nice to have, they were essential. Direct drive meant the platter reached the correct speed in a split second and held it steady, even through long recording sessions or cueing by hand. This wasn't a tweak for audiophile bragging rights. It was a technical leap that solved real problems for professionals who depended on absolute pitch and reliability. Just 2 years later, the SL1200 arrived. It took the SP10's professional DNA and put it into a robust, affordable chassis, complete with a high-torque motor and a pitch control slider. The SL1200 wasn't just another hi-fi product, it became the backbone of DJ culture and studio work alike. Over 3 million units have been produced since 1972, a number that speaks less to fleeting popularity and more to the deck's role as a universal standard. The SL-1200's direct drive system gave DJs the freedom to cue, scratch, and beat match, without worrying about belts slipping or motors lagging behind. When DJ Kool Herc threw his Bronx block parties in 1973, it was a pair of Technics decks that let him isolate and repeat the breakbeat, laying the foundation for hip-hop turntablism. Technics kept the SL-1200 in production for 43 of its first 49 years, with only a 6-year pause between 2010 and 2016. Even now, original 1970s units are still found in clubs, radio stations, and studios, running strong after decades of heavy use. That kind of endurance isn't a matter of nostalgia. It's what happens when a product's engineering is so solid that it becomes infrastructure. For audio technicians, Technics stands as proof that mechanical precision and thoughtful design can outlast trends, earning trust not through marketing, but through every record spun and every gig survived. In a world where tech trends fade fast, engineering that earns technician trust stands apart. These brands aren't just names, they're benchmarks built on decades of proven reliability and real innovation. For anyone seeking sound that lasts, technician wisdom remains the most reliable guide. What brand earns your trust?